Welcome back, nerds, to another episode of Judging Nerd Culture. I'm Ollie.
And I'm Jess.
And today, we're going to be talking about Peacemaker. It's interesting. It's a very interesting show that revolves around a character who is categorically bad. And the point of it is, as presumably, they're going to get better, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's real interesting for a lot of reasons. Not least of which is the fact that one of the main themes of it seems to be acknowledging you were born a racist and you cannot be that if you want to.
Yeah, just being raised one way and deciding, hey, that's bad. I don't want to be that way.
And I feel like if there's ever a time to talk about that it's every year in America.
Every year.
Every single year.
Every year since America was born.
But also, I would love to, talk about it now, see what we think, what we think is going to happen in the rest of the show. And maybe come back at the end of the show once the season's over and see if you're right.
So, Peacemaker starts with, right with, Chris being in the hospital after the big final act of Suicide Squad.
The Suicide
Squad. The most recent one. After, spoilers, killing Rick Flag and being put in the hospital by dead...
Nope. Bloodsport.
Bloodsport. I was gonna say Deathstroke. I was gonna say, Deadshot? Is he one?
Yep.
Okay. And Bloodsport. They're the same person. All three of them.
Bloodsport, the Deathstroke, Deadshot or Deadeye? I forget.
I don't know a lot about comics.
Deadpool, they're all fucking
and
same.
You've told me things about them, and then they got all jumbled up. Anyway, point is, Peacemaker is in the hospital. He wakes up. They give him a chance to not go back to jail, but he will have to basically kill for them, for this Black Ops team.
Real deep state shit.
Yes. And first mission is called Butterfly. Mm-hmm. That is their mission. They're not telling him what it is. He is put into this group with Myrn, Adebayo, Harcourt, and Economist.
Economist.
No? Economist.
Is there an S?
Yeah, there's an S at the end.
You're right, Economist.
Anyway.
How'd you remember any of those names?
Because I'm smart. But he's put into this ragtag group of people who don't really like each other. He doesn't know what to do. Whatever this mission Butterfly is called. Even though he's a moron, he does mention that they are very bad at naming because Operation Starfish was just a giant starfish. And so when they tell him it's Operation Butterfly, he's like, what? Am I fighting Mothman? What's going on?
Correction. He says Mothra.
Mothra.
And the only reason I mention this is because this has to be foreshadowing, right? At the end of the fucking season, they're going to fight Mothra. Right?
Maybe. I don't know. Does Mothra have to do with the butterflies?
I don't fucking...
Because they are actual alien butterflies.
Yeah, they're little
that are infecting people.
By the end of the season, the mother of all these aliens has to show up and just be fucking Mothra-sized alien butterfly.
Perhaps.
That'd be so good. First episode drop. Yeah.
But in these 4 episodes, we also see... that's the basic underlying plot. But we also see Peacemaker. We see Chris, his father, his awful, horrible, racist white dragon. That's not a dead giveaway. The first time you see him, that haircut. You look at that haircut and you think, there's a racist. But you find out that he made Chris do horrible things as a kid, and he is a product of his father's hate for everyone else except for white people.
Even then.
Yeah, and he's kind of battling with that because he knows it's kind of wrong, but he also wants to make his dad proud because his dad is always on him. And there's something about his brother that we don't know. His brother has passed away, and it's that whole your brother was better than you, it should have been you who died type of thing.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah, that whole thing. And then there's also Vigilante, who we meet, who is astounding.
Yes.
A great character to have, who is Peacemaker's best human friend.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yeah, he joins the ensemble cast as they're trying to solve this alien invasion bullshit, and he joins as basically the trigger man in the moments where Peacemaker finds a conscience.
Yes.
Because Vigilante, despite being weirdly likable and
real dorky dweeb,
is also a complete sociopath.
A complete psycho. When you first meet him, he is so dorky, and he's dancing out back of this restaurant, and because he's so excited that Peacemaker's back, and the guy shows him, he's like, "Hey man, why are you dancing?" And he's like, "Oh, my girlfriend's pregnant." "Oh, you have a girlfriend? Then why do you want me to set you up with my cousin?" We're actually, I'm so happy we're getting an abortion. You want to come to my abortion?" And he keeps digging a hole for himself, but in such a hilariously cringy, awkward, goofy way.
Mm-hmm. And another thing about Vigilante that I really enjoy is the fact that he doesn't seem entirely stupid. He seems like he sees things and he knows what's going on, and yet somehow every scene where he's in is full of the dumbest shit anyone has ever said, ever.
Yes. My favorite, I know I might be getting ahead, but my favorite scene of him, there are many. there are many. But most notable is one of the last episode when he is talking trash to Peacemaker's dad. That is so good. Because he's he's so nerdy and awkward and just you think he'd be the lousiest hero or lousiest villain, but then he brings it out from nowhere.
But I think part of it is that despite his real dorky everything, he has this demeanor of I don't fear anything, especially death. And it's very good.
Yeah. It's, oh my gosh, it's so good.
Kudos to the actor for having both that clear personality, but also that lack of, emotional connection that makes the character really seem kind of insane.
Yeah. And I think that that trait of being kind of upbeat but also threatening is terrifying.
It's wonderful.
When somebody is telling you hey, basically I'm gonna murder you, I'm gonna rip you apart, I'm gonna shove this up your a-hole and stuff like that, but they're being so chipper and happy about it. That's terrifying.
Yeah, because they're great. If someone's angry and they're I want to stab you, it's oh, I'm a little scared. You seem angry. You might actually stab me. If someone's smiling, it's I'm going to stab you. It's oh, you're going to stab me. You're going to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird.
I could maybe escape or talk this other guy out of it. Get some sort of plan, But with this guy, he's just having fun. He doesn't want to stop having fun.
Yeah, he's just in it for the lulz.
Yeah. I can't believe you said that. What is this? 2014?
Yes. A better time.
A better time.
If I could, I would go back to 2014 in a snap.
We'll see you later.
You were there.
We would have not known each other.
We met at
the end of 2014.
Yeah, close enough.
Close enough. We have a few months together. Yeah. So it's I don't know, it's a really fun show with a lot of cool characters, some of which I cannot stand, but I think that's kind of the point.
Oh yeah, here's something interesting about this show that I wanted to talk about for a bit. There isn't a single character who is truly good or likable. Mm-hmm. They're all kind of fucked up, weird, or morally sketchy at the very least.
But I think so far Judo Master is the most the most correct.
He does seem like the most up on the up and up, Like, he just seems like a bodyguard who's been doing a good job as a bodyguard.
I love Judo Master so much.
Real
Also,
unfortunate.
So resilient.
Yeah, dude don't die.
So resilient.
Had his head caved in, shot, nothing.
Yeah, because he moved his lung into his liver into where his heart was.
What?
I don't know. It was something weird.
Kidney. He said kidney.
I love John Cena.
So I want to talk about the characters and specifically the fact that all of them are pretty fucked up in a lot of ways. Because I think the fact that this show revolves around characters who are at their core kind of unlikable is really interesting because you end up liking all of the characters and wanting to see.
I don't like Harcourt. It's been 4 episodes. I still don't like her. But maybe eventually we will. I will. You might like her. Do you like her?
That's the thing. When you said that, I was trying to think, well, what about the... And then I was like, oh, no. What about... No. You know, she hasn't done anything remotely likable. Like, there was that one brief moment where Judo Master was whatever, and she was consoling Adebayo, thank you. And, like, that seemed nice. And then later on, John Cena, Chris, shows up with, you know, asking some questions about stuff, and she's kind of nice there, but she's never really been much.
And, like, I get it, because, like, her whole thing is the cold operative person who is, like, only here for the job and, like, not here to make friends. She's, like, you know, she's depressed and, like, she's got layers and she drinks beer and, like, she's killed people, she's seen things, you know. But, like, it's that hard character is boring.
Well, that's the thing. Because they have such a cold demeanor, it's hard to find anything to connect with them with because they are actively like, the character's purpose is to disconnect from the other characters, which makes it hard to connect with them as a viewer. So I imagine there's going to be, you know, things coming up. I know that in the last episode we watched, there was a bit of, like, there was a few scenes where she seemed like she was having, you know, concerns. Like I said, with Peacemaker, when he came asking some questions, her interaction with Adebayo, and even when she picked up Vigilante at the end of his scene, like, there was, you know, some concern, there was emotion in, like, her demeanor and the way she interacted with these characters, but she never actually did anything about it. Mm-hmm. Which I'm hoping means that in the next 4 or however many episodes that are to come, she gets more character, like, she gets more emotion, more likable. Yeah, I think she will. I'm not saying James Gunn is the world's best person or whatever, or director or whatever, but I do 100% trust his ability to make a character likable. He made new Chris Pratt likable. Yeah, he made Star-Lord likable. So, like, I'm pretty sure... That's saying something. Yeah. God, that's his gimmick, isn't it? He takes characters who are just the worst and makes you like them for some reason. Yeah. And I feel like it's because they're goofy. Oh, yes, they're very silly. He's like, you know what? How do I make this kind of douchey garbage person likable? I know. 80s music and some cool quips. They're gonna be funny and they listen to rock music. And daddy issues. They always have daddy issues. They do. Vigilante, his dad left them for, you know, whatever reason. Yeah. Peacemaker's dad, the worst. Star-Lord's dad, also the worst. It's a planet. It's bad. It's a planet. You're right, but it's an issue. It is an issue. So yeah. Yeah, and I guess, you know, James Gunn is not as good a writer as I thought. He does a good job though at it. He does he does one thing very well. And then there's Adebayo, who has mommy issues. Yeah, I really like Adebayo. I think she's one of my favorite characters because she's so sweet and charming. But everything she does, I feel like, is a lie. Everything she does is filled with this, like, sense of, like, she knows more than anyone else for some reason, and she's saying just the right thing to make people think she's less involved or less whatever, or, you know, she is in control of every conversation she's in. Yeah. And it's really interesting. Yeah. And the times that, you know, there are times where she lets her guard down and she's not in control of the conversation.
but her character seems like she genuinely doesn't want to be a part of this operation. Like, she just wants to go home, be with her wife, like, start a family, be rid of it. But when she does have to somehow push the mission forward or, help out, she's really good at planting ideas and thoughts into people's head that aren't necessarily their own and maybe they hadn't even thought of before.
Yeah, and even just like the way that the way the character actively is so open about, how far they've gone in the past and what they've done and all this, which has led other characters who otherwise don't care about her to try to empathize and like take care of her, which was her goal in the first place, to get the other people to want her around, to value her in some way, and dropping these things has led to that. And I don't think that's an accident. I think the character, we'll see in the future if I'm right or wrong, but it feels like everything the character has done so far, if it isn't a lie, cool, but there's a good chance it might be. A good chance that most of the things that they've said or done, maybe they have killed a lot of people in the past, and they're lying about it because they know that'll get a better reaction.
They've cried a lot. Even when nobody was around, they've cried. Like, they went to the bathroom and cried. And, like, they wouldn't have cried in the bathroom unless somebody was watching them, so they could make a scene about it and use that and manipulate them, right? So, like, they do feel a certain guilt about it. Like, you're right, it could all be a lie, but they also, it seems like, do feel some sort of way about it.
Oh, yeah, like, this isn't a thing that they're happy about doing. Yeah. They're just good at it.
And, I mean, being the daughter of... of the big bad.
It's difficult. But no, I'm reading...
I forget her name.
Amanda Waller.
Waller. I kept thinking in my head Warren.
It sounds like a bad guy name.
Yeah.
But you're right. I'm excited to see what happens with her character, what about her is true and what isn't, and how much of, her choices are deliberate, or her reactions are deliberate. But I also want to talk for a bit about, obviously, the most important character, John Cena.
John Cena. I love John Cena so much.
John Cena is very good. So,
out of all of the actors who have come from WWE, John Cena is by far my favorite.
I also like John Cena. Great singer.
Yep. Kind of keeps their identity hidden, so I don't really...
Yeah.
Wears a lot of wigs.
Great haircut, though. So, now I just want to make a image of John Cena.
John Cena wearing the Sia mask.
We'll see if
he should be in the next music video. Not really. She kind of sucks.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But no, John Cena.
John Cena
is the exact right personality for this role, because not only, his physical appearance, like, he is... I don't know how to say this without saying something very rude about John Cena, because I do think he's a great person and a nice man, but he looks like an Aryan's wet dream. You know what I'm saying?
No, he's a big, strong white man.
Exactly. He is the perfect dude for this role visually.
Yeah.
And again, no offense, John Cena, you're a lovely man. So that already great, but also the fact that he has developed this persona throughout multiple roles, like even with the WWE being the very beginning of this, like, down to earth. I'm a man of the other men. I'm a man of the people. I wear cargo shorts and tank tops to wrestle.
The Marine.
Exactly. He is so very American. And this role is just another version of that.
Yeah.
That taken to, a very wonderful extreme. That I think him being this character was a truly brilliant casting choice.
Yes, it really was. Man, John Cena, don't think he would be up for, like, you know, an Oscar or anything. Maybe someday down the road. But for now, I think maybe he does deserve one. But he's not, you know, a serious movie actor. He is not, you know, Al Pacino, Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, he's not going to be getting Golden Globes for bawling and being emotional on camera. But he is so good at, like, so Chris, Peacemaker, he's supposed to be like this guy who, even though he's an adult, he's kind of childlike because he's naive. He's always been dependent on his dad and everything. Hasn't really learned how to live life for himself. He's always been making dad proud, or trying to make dad proud. And so he does a really good job at portraying that emotion of, like, confusion and sadness, guilt, like, all rolled up in one. Like, being confused about, like, is my dad wrong? Like, is, like, what I've been doing myself, is everything I've built Peacemaker on a lie and wrong? And, like, guilt about killing Rick Flag, and guilt about, you know, maybe being racist, even though he didn't realize he was being racist or sexist or whatever. And so, like, there's a scene where he's dancing around and he's, you know, to this music in his trailer, and he's, like, yelling at himself, "You're so dumb. Rick Flag was right. You know, you're nothing. What a fraud." And, like, it seems kind of silly. Like, it seems kind of cringy. But I can picture, like real masculine men doing that. Like, being so hard on themselves, thinking that they weren't manly enough, like they weren't masculine enough, and then, like, breaking down like that, and, like, they don't do therapy. They don't have anybody to talk to. So the only way they know how to get this rage out, this grief, is to, like, be mean to themselves, or to bury it down deep, or dance around in their trailers listening to rock music and then cry on the floor. Like, it was silly, but also very realistic. And I think John Cena really did a great job. Yeah.
No, it was very humanizing.
Mm-hmm.
The fact, again, I don't think John Cena is, like you said, a Golden Globe actor.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be able to, what movie did we just watch? Andrew Garfield in that one movie.
Tick, Tick, Boom?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That is a very,
so good.
That is a very subtle movie in which you have to convey emotions in a very different way.
I cried so much.
Exactly. And I don't think John Cena would be suited for that role.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he's not good at portraying emotions. He's just bigger. He's just larger, more expressive.
Like, he's not going to make me cry my eyes out like Andrew Garfield did in Tick, Tick, Boom. But he is going to make me have emotions. Like, I am going to feel for him.
Mm-hmm. And I think part of that is the fact that the way that he's portraying this character, the way that this character is written, and the way that he's portraying it, go so well together with this idea of a very performative masculinity, where the character itself, one of his whole things is, I'm a man. I'm a big, strong man. And that is very real. Like, that is a very true to life caricature of men who are performatively masculine.
Yeah.
And then when they go home and they have these emotions, what do? They still perform it.
They don't know how else to express.
Exactly. And seeing that in this character, in the writing and in the acting, is very good.
Yeah, and it's like, throughout the rest of the beginning episodes, he, you know, comes off as, like, this just foolish guy, you know, like, he's just kind of, like, he's not totally bad, but he's kind of, like, annoying or whatever. You don't really see a lot of parts of him. He just comes off as a slightly racist, low-class villain, basically.
Yeah.
And in that scene, in that trailer scene, you find out that like, nah, he's actually trying really hard.
Yeah.
And it's just, he doesn't know how or what is going on, really.
Yeah, the conflict with Peacemaker is, without a doubt, the most important part of this show. Is his, desire to be a good person, but literally having no opportunity to ever have become one. Like, he was raised to be bad.
Yeah.
He was trained and groomed to be a bad man.
Yes. He keeps saying to everybody, I'm a superhero, I'm a hero. And they laugh in his face, and they're like, oh, you're that villain, Peacemaker, you killed Rick Flag. Oh, you're that villain, Peacemaker. And he's like, no, I'm a hero. And they're like, no, Batman's a superhero. You're not a hero. And it upsets him, because, like, he truly wants to be good, and he's been trying to be good, but in the way that his father knows to be good, and that's bad. Like, I know that sounds kind of complicated, but, like, he's using the only tools he learned to use for good. Like, you can't fit a square piece into a circle, like, he's trying to be good with all these villainous tools.
Yeah, it's honestly quite wonderful. I'm excited to see where the character develops, because there's an obvious path that he's down of deconstructing sort of the world that he was taught, and rebuilding it to understand what he should do with himself. And that is a wonderful thing to see, because redemption arcs in any show tend to be kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like any angsty teen supernatural drama.
Yeah.
It's like, I killed 100 people, but I feel bad now.
Yeah, like the redemption isn't believable. It's like, well, I still don't like you. Like, there's no reason for you to be redeemed right now.
Exactly. Whereas with this one, it seemed this whole show is a redemption arc, and the fact that it isn't just I feel bad, I want whatever. He's always felt bad. He just isn't allowed to show it, because this is the way he's been trained, and he's whatevering, and that pressure is slowly starting to become overbearing, and he can't handle pretending not to be hurt by promising to murder children. And it is gonna be good.
Yeah.
His redemption is gonna be well earned.
Do you want to discuss what you think is going to happen in the future episodes of Peacemaker?
I would love to.
Okay.
So I think the final villain is gonna be his dad, controlled by Mothra. Maybe not specifically Mothra, but big alien bad guy.
I don't know. I don't think big bad guy is going to be evil. I don't think the butterflies are evil, is what I mean. When we see him go to the senator, I believe, when we see him go to his house and he is ordered to kill the whole family because they are butterflies, he hesitates. And also, the family seem, I mean, even though they're creepy, weird alien butterfly things, they don't seem aggressive. Like, they seem very benevolent. They seem like they're just trying to exist, and they happen to be inside a human. That is the way they can exist, which is unfortunate, but it in a weird way they don't seem bad. So I think the end bad guy, I mean, maybe it will be Mothra, but I feel like it will just be White Dragon and his goons.
Well, here's the thing. I think that is the ultimate bad guy is going to be his dad. Like, that's clear. But I think, like you said, the aliens aren't explicitly evil, except Myrn. Yeah,
him and whatever group of other butterflies. There's bad butterflies and good butterflies, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it works.
It's good and bad at everything.
Species.
But I think part of it is going to be that he's going to have to, fight his dad, resolve that, and then in the end it's going to be Myrn's butterfly taking over that body again, because of whatever reason. And it ends up being, kind of just an emotional moment where he has to beat his dad up again. Like, whatever else, for whatever reason. I don't know. I think that might be the direction they go in. Because...
And do you think...
Making assumptions.
Do you think everyone will find out about Adebayo being Waller's daughter?
Yes.
And if they do you think... I think maybe at first they'll be upset about it, but then they might come back around. Because she does seem like a good person.
I think Adebayo being Amanda Waller's daughter is such an early Chekhov's gun in the plot of the show. Like, we find out about it first episode. No one else knows. That has to become a relevant plot point again.
And Waller tells her, she asks her mother, shouldn't we tell them about the plan? So she knows something else going on with the butterflies.
Exactly. She might even know about Myrn. Who knows? But, yeah, her revealing the truth, 100% guaranteed. I am certain of that. White Dragon with Butterfly being the evil bad guy, less sure about that, but I think so. The other thing that I think is going to be kind of big, or one of the things I think would be important to the ending, I think Harcourt and Vigilante are going to get together.
That's weird.
I know. I think...
I don't know about that.
Hey, fine.
Because I know they've been kind of hinting that Harcourt and Chris will get together, and that's like the typical. So like maybe they'll surprise you and like go, oh no, haha, she's actually gonna be the Vigilante. But that just seems weird. I don't. Maybe.
Hey,
I would be so happy.
You would be very excited. I don't know 100% why I believe this, but I have a spidey sense that says they're going to get together. That
would be great.
And I'm calling my shot. I'm taking my guess. No particular reason. I'm just feeling it.
I'm also hoping that in either the last episode or the next, coming episodes, at some point, Peacemaker calls Vigilante his best human friend.
Because he hasn't said it himself.
He has not said it himself. Vigilante just shows up at his trailer and he's like, well, I'm your best friend. These people aren't best friend material. And he goes, you're not my best friend. Eagly is my best friend, which is his pet eagle, by the way.
Very, very well trained.
Very well trained.
We haven't talked about this at all. No one's talked about it in the show at all. That eagle is terrifyingly well trained.
Yes. Also, how is it legal for him to have a pet eagle?
Not even.
It's
a bald eagle. Those are endangered.
But I'm hoping that he calls Vigilante his best friend. Excuse me.
And then Eagly attacks Vigilante.
He calls him his best human friend. Hopefully Eagly does not die fighting the moths, the butterflies. I mean, that'd be unfortunate. But I think that would just be really sweet and a really wholesome moment between Peacemaker and Vigilante.
Would be. Would be lovely.
I do think, though, that after the last episode, they are going to have some tense interactions when Peacemaker finds out that Vigilante has potentially made things worse
so much
with his relationship between Peacemaker and his father.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree with everything so far. Like, I think what we're saying, almost certain to happen. The Mothra dad thing, iffy, but that is definitely going to be one of the final fights. I also think Judah Master.
Yes.
Like,
he's going to become part of the team.
100%, right?
1,000%.
He's got to become.
That opening sequence, that beautiful, perfectly choreographed opening sequence, Judo Master jumps up on top of John Cena's shoulder like a child. And it's great, and I love it. But that shows me that they are not going to be enemies for very long. And he's too good.
He's too
great of a character to just kill off.
Mm-hmm. So, here's the last bit of prediction that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way that the show's going to progress is that Judah Master is eventually going to, come back to consciousness and is going to reveal the truth about the butterflies to Economos, Harcourt, and Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them, essentially. And they're going to work together to save people, and
Mern's gonna try to stop that from happening.
yes, Mern, Adebayo, and I think Vigilante. I think Vigilante is a sweet young boy. Not really, but he's very impressionable.
He's still pretty young.
He is pretty young compared to everybody else, but he's very easy to control. And I think he would be easily manipulated into continuing this crusade, even if Peacemaker takes a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where we're going to go with it. Eventually, it's going to come down to Peacemaker convincing Adebayo and Vigilante to be like, hey, stop fucking doing this. Be a better person. Which, coming from him, would be a big deal. And I think would bring his character around to his whole character arc around from being a person who is somehow, despite everything, actually a good person deep down. And actually bringing that to the surface and trying to genuinely do good for the sake of doing good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where we're going.
Yeah, I think so. I can't really imagine things veering too far off that path.
Mm-hmm.
We could be surprised. We could be wrong.
Are we ever wrong?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, fine.
Sometimes you gotta humble yourself, Ollie. Sometimes you have to humble yourself and accept it's okay to be wrong. You don't have to be a strong, masculine dude all the time like Peacemaker.
But I'm a man. I'm a big, strong man.
Yeah.
Fair. But we'll see. I don't know. It'll be fun to see if we're right. Honestly, I don't know what other directions it might go in. So if anyone has an idea of what direction it might go in, I don't know, mention it somewhere, and we'll see who's right. It's gonna be us, though. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful whatever time of year it is. I'm not sure.
It's January.
I lost.
Have a wonderful January.
Yep.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah.
Hanukkah?
I was trying to say
Is that the Jewish Valentine's Day?
Yes.
7 days of
Well,
Valentine's.
I was gonna say Happy Valentine's or Happy Hanukkah, but I remembered Valentine's Day was coming, and then they just goodbye.